Have you read The Black Witch Chronicles by Laurie Frost? Are you aware that book 5, The Dryad Storm, is out? If not, I'm here to talk about The Dryad Storm. And don't worry, this is a spoiler-free review. I gave this one 4 stars and 1 on the spice meter. Some of the things you can come to expect in this book is magic, multiple point of views, war, religious politics, magic bonds, and it does have some darker themes. So I loved this entire series, and I'm actually surprised I don't see more people talking about this series. But for me, it did feel like that it took forever for this book to come out, but that's just maybe me. So when I did hear that this book had came out, I was super excited. I did do the audio version this time around. It does have one narrator and it is action-packed. But remember, you do have to read this series in order. If you are somebody who's listening to this who has not read this series yet because you were like, oh, it's spoiler free. Yes, but you still have to read this series in order. It is not one that you can read out of order. You have to read this series in order. This book also has multiple point of views from characters that we didn't really get to know as much from the previous books, but we really get to know them in this book, as well, of course, Elloren. So when I originally read these books, I really didn't pay attention to what the age recommendation was on these books. But when I did get this book this time, I did pay attention to what the age recommendation was on this book. And it is suggested as a young adult teen book. And as a mom and a reviewer, I feel like I do need to let you know that there is actually spice in this book. And it's not just one scene due to the fact that it's multiple point of views of what's going on inside the story. It's not vulgar and it's not super descriptive, but it is detailed enough that you know what's going on. So do bear that in mind. This is a longer book and a lot does happen. So it is super action-packed and super exciting, but being that it is the last book in the series, I did feel like it wrapped up the series very nicely in the end as well. Just so you know, book 1 is The Black Witch, book 2 is The Iron Flower, book 3 is The Shadow Wand, and book 4 is The Demon Tide. This is a fantasy romance, and as I said before, this is book 5, so I'm going to give you a quick overview so you can decide whether you want to read this book or not. Vogel is still wreaking havoc with the shadow magic and destroying everything in his path. Elloren has to do whatever it takes to stop him, even if that means aligning herself with people who want her dead. She has to do this before he destroys everything and there's nothing left to protect. This book was good, just like the other books in the series. So if you did enjoy the other books in the series, I know for sure you're going to love this book. If you haven't read the other books in the series and you're listening to this review, then you definitely need to check out the other books in the series because I think that you will love them, especially if you are a romantasy fan. So I liked this one. Actually love this one, and I think you might too.